Hi, Dad.
So we're going to get started. I have the top of the hour. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Jim Gilliland. I do live in the Pacific Northwest, up in what they call Port Townsend, Washington area. I'm actually about 5 miles south of the town. Um, been up here for about 32 years. My background, I didn't go to college to become a trainer in the area of water. I actually did is uh, my background is after military, which is right out of high school. uh, Back in 74, 75, and 76. And then after the military, I went to work for the California Highway Patrolman. As a highway patrolman, I was a state traffic officer, retired twice, both times on injury. And so, uh, fortunately, I did what they taught me to do and have a career to fall back on, which I did. I was a brick mason. And so I did that for a lot of years. Put in about 20, well, better than 25 years doing masonry tile. I did it as a highway patrolman also. And then in 96, I had was actually got involved with a company that sold air and water purifiers and started learning about water purification more than I actually it's marketed NSA filters for about 4 years prior to that. And NSA was just a countertop filter. But you know what? Anything to get rid of the chlorine and the lead was, at the time, that was my big issue. And then after being with the one company for, you know, about 14, 15 years, I forget exactly what the time span was there, I joined with another company that also did water technologies. So I've sold everything from point of use, RO systems, distillers, whole house systems, ozone, UV, photo oxidation. I've sold a lot of water technologies. And when I was introduced to Lifewave, we didn't have a technology yet. However, they were looking at a technology. Matter of fact, David spent 7 years and actually 8 years now in the production of the X2O. I was actually invited and flown back to the convention in Florida to hear about the company, the technologies, and that's when David Schmidt unveiled the first information on some of the research he's doing with the X2O water. They called it lobster water. And so what I saw on stage was, it boggled my mind. I just couldn't believe that someone actually took a species, the lobster, and said, okay, how's this guy living so long? And then took it to look at the equations in the biblical references. And so that was my first introduction to X2O water. In fact, right after the break, after he showed it, I went out to the hallway and started making phone calls. Now, get this. I just signed up. Even though I've been using the patches for a few months, I just really had decided to sign up and do the business as a brand partner. I saw what was coming down the road. I knew eventually we would have a water technology. And then about almost 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years ago, I was sitting with David Schmidt on a ship headed to Greece. And I asked him one day, this is after I started working with them already on the X2O water systems. And I said, where do you get your ideas? And he told me, he says, Jim, he says, I study the Bible each night. I study the Bible and I pray and I intercede, and God gives me the downloads information. And that's where I thought, this is the kind of guy I can follow. My background also includes being a pastor for a number of years, pastor at church, and we've been involved with youth ministry for all these years. So when I looked at the water systems that he was working on, and he allowed me to go and to tour, the only brand partner ever allowed at that time to go and tour the facilities in Ireland. I saw things that I had to sign non-disclosures. I can't even talk about them still. Technologies that this company has for us in the future. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to go a little more in depth into water. And let me share my screen here. Okay. So we're going to talk about hydration tonight. Each week we talk a little bit about hydration. Tonight we're going to go a little more detail about hydration, why it's important. We're going to spend time answering questions, testimonials, those type of things. But I want to keep this under an hour, so I want to get going on this. So if you guys got questions, just keep yourself muted until the end, and we'll get to those questions. Short video, first of all.
Now you can live life elevated.
You guys hear the sound?
Now you can live life elevated with superior wellness through the transformational power of light. Every second, thousands of biochemical signals are sent throughout the body using wavelengths of light. At LifeWave, our products are designed to harness that light in unique ways to optimize ultimate energy flows. Our global community is united by light, offering the promise of health, vitality, and opportunity through the power of synergy. 3 of our groundbreaking innovations together promote the ultimate in healthy living and offer you an opportunity, a 3-in-1 system that can change lives. Welcome to the future of wellness. It begins with X39, our breakthrough light-activated patch that taps into the body's natural ability to renew, restore, and perform at its best. Cellergize is a complete cellular energy and recovery system designed to fuel your day, support your mind, and recharge your body. And then, our all-new LifeWave X2O, a patented breakthrough in hydration science that dispenses light-infused water at the touch of a button. This is hydration reinvented. LifeWave X2O, when consumed daily, aids in proper hydration to support the effectiveness of X39 and Cellergize, boosting energy flows, nutrient absorption, metabolic activity, oxygen uptake, even activating key physiological responses. A power system of synergy, together more powerful than when separate. An innovative 3-in-1 system to intensify overall effectiveness. Because when your body is powered by light, energy flows and everything comes to life. It's time to build a foundation of hydration, energy, and recovery to fuel you, your body, and your business. LifeWave, the power of synergy. One system making it simple to start, share, and succeed. Awaken your potential. Experience the power of synergy. Share the light. LifeWave.
Okay, so the synergy of the 3 together, the X2O, the Cellergize, the X39. Using that combination, we can go back to making comments about stem cells and how we help to restore and make healthy our stem cells. So I know that some of you were on the executive call today. David went into more detail about that. He also had a call on Wednesday. If you don't have that recording that call, I posted them on our Facebook page, and also you can go to Live Younger YouTube, and you can see those videos there. So let's talk about water. First of all, our lives are the sum total of the choices we have made. Now, that doesn't mean just our life choices. As far as what we chose to do as we grew up, we're talking about the health choices, what we put into our body, what we drink, what we eat, what we breathe. Air is free. We don't think much of it. Extremely important. Water, it's almost free unless you're on your own well. It's but what's in your water? We talk about our lives and how long we want to live, and we want to live a healthy life, but what's your lifetime goal? I'm 70, okay? I don't want to live to just 72, 75, 80. My goal is to live to 103 unless the Lord comes back first. And I want to do it in a healthy, active way. Today I was at the gym working out, got home, did my nutrition, healthy nutrition. And I've already had 4 or 5 glasses of X2O water today. But 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated. We don't think about that. Chronically dehydrated. I don't mean just, if you're thirsty, you're on the beginning of being dehydrated. And so if you look at your body, the total body, your brain is 74 to 83% water. What water do you want in your brain? Your bones, 13 to 22% water. Your muscles are 76% water. Our fat is 20% water. Our skin, 70% water. Our connective tissues are 60% water. People wonder why they have aches and pains and these type of issues. A lot of times it comes down to is we're dehydrated. So why is water so important? First of all, 1%, just 1% water loss, you're dehydrated. 2% water loss, you're thirsty. I know I wake up in the morning and because when I hit the sack at night, I don't wake up through the night. A lot of people get up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I don't. I shut my eyes. I'm asleep within minutes, and I don't wake up until either the alarm wakes me up or the sunshine does, one of the two. But when I wake up, I'm thirsty. Maybe it is because I've been sleeping with my mouth open. Who knows? But the thing is, I'm thirsty. So I drink water. I drink anywhere from 24 to 32 ounces of water before I go to bed at night. 10% water loss. Hallucinations. You start hallucinating, you're on your way out. You've got to think about hydration. Just 12% water loss can lead to death. In my opinion, this is my opinion, is that most Americans, they don't think about the water they drink, the water they shower in, the water that, that they go swimming, those type of things. So we got to start thinking about all those types of water we're exposing to our bodies. And if we drink the right amount of water, 8 to 10 glasses of water a day, you say to yourself, well, how big a glass? I was doing a wellness presentation for the hospital, and the gal was in charge of the all the wellness for the patients, the staff. She was listening really intently. I said, did you have a question? She goes, yeah, you said you keep saying half your body weight in ounces per day. I said, well, how many glasses of water do you recommend per day? She says, well, 8 to 10 is what we teach people. I said, what size glasses? 6 ounce, 8 ounce, 10 ounce, 12 ounce, 16, what is it? She goes, well, I would think 8 to 10 ounces. Well, think about that. If a person weighs, like myself, I weigh 190, that would be 95 ounces of water a day. So I need to drink at least 10 ounce glasses of water a day. If you weigh 200 pounds, 100 ounces. 150 pounds, 75 ounces. This is just a guideline. It's not specific, but it's a guideline. So what we need to do is shoot for half our body weight in ounces per day. But the problem is this. The water we drink is the important part. Not the quality, so much the quantity, but the quality. The reason why I say is this. Yeah, it's important to drink those half your body weight in ounces per day. But if you drink water, tap water, bottled water, well water, you need to think about how much of that water is actually getting into the cellular level. Most water clusters together And it's either small clustered water or large clustered water. I sold micro clustered or small clustered water for many years. And an ionizer I used to market. The thing is, water clusters matter. When you take water that's clustered together and it's large clustered water, it doesn't get into those cellular openings, what they call the aquapores. And so we need to get small cluster or tiny water. That's what X2O is. It is small clustered water. So it delivers nutrients more effectively to the body. But a lot of people, when they think about that, they think, well, what's in my water? What am I delivering more effectively? Is my water clean? And so as we look at our water, we need to make sure that we get all the stuff out. We need to make sure that we get all those pollutants out of the water. Because if we don't, and we're not getting properly hydrated, the first things we notice is we start getting tired, we get headaches, we get joint aches, we become sluggish and a slow metabolism. Our cravings are mistaken for water and premature aging signs, wrinkles, fine lines and wrinkles. So we can drink the right amount of water, but if we're not getting the water into the cellular level, we aren't getting properly hydrated. According to the Environmental Working Group, Americans' tap water has been found to have more than 315 pollutants, and over half of those pollutants are completely unregulated and can legally exist in any amount. So think about this comment. Tap water of 41 million Americans has been found to contain a wide range of pharmaceuticals, including sex hormones and anti-seizure medications. How much of that do you want in your body? And if you think about the water in America today, it's not getting any better. There's all kinds of unseen contaminants. We got microplastics, we have PFASs, we have all these contaminants in our water. And not only do we have it in our water, now we're finding it in our rainwater. So we need to get those things out of the water. I've got customers both here in the States and also Australia and New Zealand. They have what they call bore water. They catch their water. It's water catchment. And they're catching the water, but it's also everything that's in the air that gets captured up in that water as rain, and rains in, they catch it and they drink that stuff. So what we need to do is get the stuff out of the water. We need to remove those PFASs from our water. A PFAS include different products, that we find in our clothing we wear. I mean, you can bring clothing home from the store that's new. You're going to find PFASs in that. You find them in their firefighting foam, like in our shoes and all kinds of stuff. So we're exposed to it all the time. What we want to do, though, is make sure that we are not consuming it as we drink our water. Millions of Americans are exposed to contaminants like PFASs and heavy metals. Filters don't improve the bioavailability. So when I say that is this: we can remove that stuff from the water, but even though we remove from the water's not that bioavailable. In other words, we're not absorbed into the body. So what we want to do is we want to increase that availability of the hydration into our bodies. And we do that with the X2O by removing the contaminants from the water. And that's heavy metals. We remove, PFASs, microplastics, all these things from our water. And so right now, if you look at the public and what they're looking at a way to get rid of that stuff from their water. There's a $7 trillion global market turning to holistic health. The X2O delivers a science-backed hydration innovation. We remove all that stuff from the water. And not only do we make the water clean, it's also alkaline, it's antioxidant, it's hydrogen rich, and it's microclustered. But those are just side effects of the water. Our main focus is on our light technology. So David Schmidt found a way to create special metallic oxides and with unique waves that are patented. We have both patents, U.S. patents and international patents. He realized that hydrogen can act like a metal, leading to a new form of water. He also studied light from long-living species like the lobsters and found a code for longevity, and discovered this same code also appears in the book of Genesis. We got church today. We got the 2 great awards on our new Code of Creation movie. Talked about that today on our executive and above call. X2O changes the structure of the water so it can store light energy. When you drink the water, it releases this light inside your body. The 630 nanometers of red light boosts mitochondrial function or cell energy. Instead of shining light on your skin, X2O delivers it through the water. Now, when I first saw this, I said almost 4 years ago, that's what got me excited. How the water changes and it captures the light. And we have other technologies that we're working on through that right now as well. So some of the things it does, enhances cellular hydration, increases energy and vitality, longevity and healthy aging. It changes our skin. It makes our skin renew and supports our metabolism. And, you start seeing things like people now are spraying it on their skin. Well, I've always marketed a water technology that had a beauty water that you could spray on your skin. So I recommend you guys, especially the ladies, if you're into making sure your skin is clean, the pores are closed, skin is tight, spray that. Get yourself a bottle, fill it up each day when you're getting first glass of water. Just get a little bottle and mist your face. So stage 1 of that system removes the heavy metals and microplastics and PFOSs and the PFOAs. That's in stage 1. Stage number 2 infuses water with hydrogen, acting as an antioxidant. Okay, hydrogen-rich water is extremely healing to the body. That's one thing I like about this water also. It's got the hydrogen. I've been drinking hydrogen-rich water for 18 years, and I don't think I'd want to be without it. And we have it in this water. Matter of fact, I just tested my machine again. I've been testing the water since, it's probably been 9-10 months now. And that water tests out at a negative millivolt of about 635. Now, negative 635 is antioxidant. So if you think about antioxidants, those of you who don't know, antioxidants slow down the aging process in your body. And so if you were to cut an apple or a banana, it starts to turn brown. That's oxidation going on. Or if you leave your tools out in the rain here in the Northwest, they start to rust. That's oxidation. We don't want our bodies to start oxidizing and aging quickly. Oxidation in the body is a good thing. It serves its purpose. But we don't want high levels of oxidation in our body. So with the hydrogen, we can actually slow down or reverse that aging process. So it also, the stage 3 exposes the water to light frequencies, altering its structure for enhanced bioavailability. So we got these 3 stages we go through. And as they looked at the people that were drinking the water, they found measurable effects. They found out that as they did their clinical research, that NAD plus levels, which are linked to our energy, metabolism, and longevity, increased. Collagen activity, which is our skin and tissue support, increased. Our telomere stability increased. So we have all these things that we saw that the water started doing. And so it came down to this, is the key advantage to cellular hydration is absorption, faster cell repair, inflammation reduced, energy and vitality and rapid energy boost, sustained focus, less fatigue, anti-aging longevity. We see tissue renewal. We see delayed aging signs, cellular efficiency, skin and metabolism revitalized. I know we all would like our skin to look younger and longer. Detoxification, okay? One thing I'll tell you is some people that drink this water and they think they should drink more than 1 or 2 glasses of water a day. If they're not used to drinking water that's alkaline water, they might have some immediate detox symptoms like loose stools. They might get a headache. But that's a very small amount. That's like 1%. What I tell people though is this: start with your 1 to 2 glasses of water a day. David really pushed that on me when he first sent me my first X2O machine, and they sent me one to tear apart and to tear apart, put it together, help them figure out what they needed for service and repairs. So one thing you will say is this: if you see them, it says note, these benefits are based on Lifewave and David Schmidt's early clinical studies on X2O. They are not based on fully validated by large-scale peer-reviewed research and not official company benefit claims. Always consult your healthcare professional before making health-related decisions. They've gone further since I put this PowerPoint together, and they're finding that the machine is better than what we'd ever thought it would be. It does more things than we ever could even imagine. So in a minute here, we're going to ask a couple of people on here that have got a machine to unmute and share their testimonial. So once again, X2O is what we call structured or restructured water. And it does is it helps to boost your mitochondria and gives you more energy and better health. So I'm not going to go through all this. You guys read it. I'll give you, if you guys want the PowerPoint, let me know. But if you look at global water consumption, it is so rapidly increased, not just in the world and not just in the US, but I mean, just look at everybody that buys bottled water. I mean, how many people do you know that used to drink soda pops all the time or other things that are now buying bottled water? Everywhere you look, you see bottled water machines. You see every grocery store selling bottled water, and yet they can get it right there in their own kitchen. They don't have to buy it and give money to someone else for that bottled water. So if you think about this, our water industry is projected to hit $30.1 billion by the year 2032. 7.75% growth is driven by demand for high quality hydration and health-focused solutions. People are looking for a better water quality. Millions are exposed to forever chemicals and heavy metals every day. Most filters fail to improve the water's bioavailability or absorption. So the company I worked with for those 18 years, they made the water more bioavailable to the body, but their filters didn't remove the stuff that was in the water. And that's one thing that really concerned me. If you don't remove all those forever chemicals, microplastics, the PFASs, you make the water more easily to enter the body into the aquaporins. You're also delivering all that stuff more effectively into the body. So right now there's a wellness shift, and there's a $70 trillion wellness market that's moving towards holistic health. And so we are on the cutting edge. No one else in the world has what we have. No one. And so it's kind of like when they did the patent, we had to come up with a new category for this technology. There's a lot of water ionizers in the market. There's a lot of water filters in the market, but they don't do what we do. Yes, our water is antioxidant. Yes, it's hydrogen-rich water. It's microclustered. Those are just side issues. Those are just side effects of what the water does. David added those in because he knows there's a big demand for it out there. Our water is pure and clean, and it's infused with light. No one else does what we do. So we are first to market with this technology. So these are the kind of people you can be looking for to market to. Now, this is my opinion, okay? You can think about it and decide, who you want to market to, but we need to start looking for health-conscious individuals that are seeking better hydration and overall wellness. There's a lot of people. I mean, I go to the gym, and most of the people at the gym are seniors. When I say seniors, they're 50, 55 and older. So there's a lot of athletes out there, though, and those athletes are looking for better water. They require enhanced performance and nutrient absorption. So what better thing to do is to sell them what they call a trifecta, X39, Cellergize, and the X2O. We have our aging population that's focused on anti-aging and natural rejuvenation. I know I am. I said I'm 70. I want to slow down the aging process, which I think I've done. And your current water system users, they're ready to upgrade beyond the basic filtration. Even those who are not just using filters. Most of my customers over the last month or almost 2 months we've been buying or selling the systems are people that have spent $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on water systems for their home. Now they are saying, okay, we want something even better yet. And they're buying the X2O systems. So consumers seek premium, science-backed hydration solutions that go beyond traditional filtration and purification. We're looking for, these health-conscious individuals that demand functional wellness products that support their hydration, energy, and daily performance. The rise of scientific hydration technology suggests a market shift towards enhanced water solutions. So here's your ideal customers. Age 40 to 65 plus. Income levels 100,000 plus a year, which means mid to high income earners. Location, you want to start marketing to as your urban and suburban health conscious communities and households that have families, that have professionals, wellness driven individuals. Now, when I say these income levels, I have people that are on very low income that are finding a way to buy this technology. They're doing whatever they need to do to come up with the money to buy the X2O. Now, one thing I recommend is this. Go out. You don't have to own a machine, a system to market it. Sell 5 systems. Sell 5 X2Os using our videos, using the webinars, using our handout tools. 5 of those will give you enough money to pay for an X2O. So you don't have to own one to sell one. If you want one that bad, you'll go out and find 5 people that are looking to change their life. So look at the mindset and the behaviors of the people that you're selling to. What drives their decisions? First of all, wellness focused, invest in organic food, personal health, and fitness. Those are the kind of people you want to start talking to. Tech savvy people, they're eager to adopt advanced wellness technologies. Eco-conscious people, they're concerned about bottled water's environmental impact. People that buy bottled water, they know that there's microplastics in every bottle of bottled water. Brand loyal people that prefer premium long-term health solutions. And then frequent buyers, people that regularly purchase supplements, water technology, and wellness services. When we came out with Cellergize, I was able to get rid of half of my supplements. I had my supplement closet. In the end, one thing I noticed is not only have I lost weight, but I've gained muscle. My workouts have tremendously improved. I can't believe the difference from just 6 months ago in my workouts now. The amount of weight I can lift, the long I can go without tired, those type of things. We're going to watch a short video here. Then we're going to go to little testimonials and share some information.
And I can't move my hands anymore. The pain is just too intense, and my hands are frozen open. So I can't go back to work, and I'm really sorry I can't do anything for you. And I said, okay, why don't you come in to the office and let me work with you for a bit and show you some of our light therapy products. And he said, okay, he didn't have any idea who I was or in that regard, or what it is that we were doing over at Lifewave. We had only been talking about the drone project. So we talked for a little while, and he gave me a background on what he was going on in his life. And he's in his mid 60s. And in addition to crippling arthritis, he had a problem with his gut. And of course, the immune system is in the gut, and arthritis is a problem with the immune system. He's also pre-diabetic, and he had all these unfortunate health challenges. And it's so sad, because just as somebody is getting ready to into their later years, they may want to retire. Of course, I don't think 60s are the later years anymore. That's a separate subject. But as someone's getting to that age, that they have to be suffering with these chronic conditions. So I gave him, I explained what all of our products were. I gave him a glass of our light infused water. I then placed an X39 patch on the back of his neck. I placed our energy patches up on the elbow points to improve the flow of energy through the hands. And then I put an Eon patch right at the hand where the worst pain was. And in less than 1 minute, his pain level dropped from a 10 to a 4. And in 5 minutes, his pain dropped from a 10 to a 1. And he regained 100% of the mobility in his hands. And we chatted for a while. And as he was walking out the door, he said, "Oh, my pain is at a 0 now." And he was, in absolute shock. And he had been complaining about fatigue, which isn't surprising. And he said he felt more mentally alert. He felt more energized. And it just goes to show that with our products, not only does the light infused water and the patches work synergistically, but the effects, the magnitude of the effects are enormous, and we can change people's lives with this technology. And that's what's just so exciting to me, is that he walked into the office and he spent 15 minutes telling me how depressed he was, how sad he was, that he got to this point in his life. He felt totally dependent on his wife to take care of him, and he walked out a new man. So wow. I'm so excited and so happy for him. I just had to share it with you all. The results were immediate. They were powerful. They were systemic, and there are immediate, tangible benefits to drinking this water. And it's going to match up perfectly with the use of the patches. So you drink 1 glass of water, and the effect will last about 3 to 5 hours. That means that people feel more energy over that period of time, better mental clarity. And it is nothing like drinking coffee. The energy levels are very stable. You never crash off of it. But yeah, I would say it's about 3 to 5 hours. I would say I've been working on this for many, many years, but let's say 6 years, I started looking in this specific direction. The first piece of equipment that we built here in the office, we were making 1 drop at a time. And we knew that there was an effect, and we were changing, we were creating a new species of water. But at that time, I really didn't know, were we going to be able to create a machine that could make something that consumers could use. And of course, I'm delighted that we were. That said, the process is not quick. It takes 45 minutes to make 1 500 ml glass of water. So the machine will process 2 glasses at a time, and then it's another 45 minutes to make the next 2 500 ml glasses of water. But keeping in mind, the studies show that 1 glass is enough. A household with, 4, 5, 6 people, this machine is absolutely going to be able to do the job. Age was going to be expensive. So we thought, okay, if we're asking people to purchase this machine and we know it's going to be expensive, we can't ask people to put in filtered water. We have to be able to have it use tap water. So we worked with a company here in the United States, and it took way longer than I would have thought. It was 8-9 months of working with them, but we wanted the best filter possible. So this is the first stage is a multi-stage filter, and it's going to remove chlorine, pesticides, herbicides, microplastics, the forever chemicals, PFOS, PFOAs. So it's going to remove all of those things. And then it goes into a second stage, which is a carbon block. So we're way over 99% of removing contaminants in water. And we will have a certification on that from Intertech once that's completed. Design where it should be maintenance free, so it's as easy to use as possible, and the filters are changed about once per year. Of course, that's going to depend on usage, but there will be an indicator that will pop up on the touch screen. So once you put a new filter in, you don't have to measure or follow anything. The machine will tell you when the filter is ready for replacement, but it's about once per year for each of those filters. I wouldn't have expected it when we first designed it, that it would end up weighing as much as it does, but these are relatively big and heavy. Wayne, as you know, these are very attractive machines. They make a nice, we have 2 of them in our kitchen here at our research office, so we can have staff using them and getting feedback on the machines. But they take up a fair amount of room. And so it's larger than a microwave oven, or it's about the size of a big microwave oven. And it's quite a bit heavier. So, but it is made of stainless steel. It will look beautiful on a countertop. And once people put it in somewhere, they're probably not going to change the location. About this product launch that I'm excited about. But actually, I think the biggest one is if we can build awareness in the world that we're essentially beings of light. God created us to process light. That's our foundation, and that we're connected to light. And by drinking this water and having these dramatic effects, and having 100% of the people that drink light-infused water get these dramatic effects, maybe what we do in the process is we change the consciousness of the people that use it, and eventually we end up changing the world. And I mentioned this at conference in October. My mother-in-law will say to me, "What do you want for Christmas this year?" And I always tell her world peace. And if we change people's thought process, we say, well, wait a minute, if this works with light and I'm made of light, that means we're all connected, and we shouldn't be having wars. We shouldn't be fighting with one another. Life is too precious. We should be helping one another. And when we put this kind of power into people's hands, like with what I witnessed today, where you can take someone that is depressed and they're looking at the end of their life, and now you give this person an entirely new lease on life. How is that going to change the world? I think in an incredibly dramatic, beautiful way. So, yeah, I'm really excited about having people overcoming illness, empowering people with this technology, putting that power in their hands. I'm crazy excited about it, but the broader social, global implications to me could be extraordinary. And it's only the beginning.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing right now. Okay, so what I'd like to do is, I've talked a lot of stuff. There's a few of you that have a X2O system, and you've experienced some noticeable changes with the water. If you want to raise your hand, and you could do that just by going down and onto the react button, hit OK. Diane's already up. So Diane, go ahead and unmute.
Hang on, I think I did. Okay.
Okay, good. Diane, tell me, where do you live, and how long have you had your system now?
So we're in Peoria, Arizona, and we were one of the first ones to get a system, when they first came out, and then we got the new ones, and it was a whole different world. I mean, totally different world. I guess I should put my camera on. Hold on. And then, so we've been drinking the water now for, I guess, whenever we got the new one, maybe a couple months ago. I don't know how long it is, but I just have a funny story. So we drink it every morning. Obviously, we get up, we have it. I usually put celluloid in it, but lately I've been trying to drink the first glass without it, just to see how I feel. Obviously, you're way more energized. You feel you have clarity. But one of the funniest things that I have to say is we were visiting our grandkids in California this past weekend, and the 7-year-old was with Fred, my husband, and he's touching his skin, and he says, "Fred, your skin is so soft. What are you doing?" So we were just laughing because we know that it is changing the skin. But I will say it gives more clarity. I mean, Fred, what do you like? I know he definitely thinks his workouts are better first thing in the morning. So it's been a lot of fun using it, drinking it.
That's awesome.
But I do have a question.
Go ahead.
That I know David sort of said it at the end. So how long before you think that we'll have like the NSF and the ANSI certifications, so that we can, I already tell people, all the things that you said, but so that we can say it with real clarity and know that what we're saying is true.
Yeah, we've already got certifications. What we're doing is they're actually working on the labels. And so I think the main thing is we want the label to be, say, certified in like California and the ones that hadn't. And so it's just a matter of, legalities right now. But I've been pushing on this for, I don't know, 8, 9 months, 10 months, where it's been, that the machines, the filters are branded, and that we'll have a label with all that information on it. And the only way to buy it is as a Lifewave brand partner from the company. Otherwise, I'm asking that someone buys it elsewhere, they would void the warranty. I've been really pushing on a few things. That one of them is the labeling. We want to make sure that the label shows exactly. We don't want them having to go look elsewhere for it. So that will be soon. I was talking to Janine about it 2 days ago. And so we're getting close. So, yeah, good. So, Allie.
Jim, thank you from the depth of my heart for this incredible training. I'm so glad that I finally made it to this Thursday class since the close of the series. That was really good. And I know that you've opened it up for shares. And so I'll keep my question to a separate time. Is that correct? Okay. So yeah. First of all, I just joined Lifewave a year ago yesterday. So it was my 1-year anniversary. And when I was in the process of going through a divorce last May, and I was moving into my house, and I was listening to trainings, audio, YouTubes that a friend had sent me. And one of them was from David Schmidt at conference a couple of years ago talking about the machine. And that's when I stopped dead in my tracks, stopped my unpacking, went to the coffee table. And I was just like, I had a visceral response, like, pay attention. And I'm so glad I did. despite where I was at from a financial standpoint, when I heard it was going to, when people were asking me, are you going to buy the machine? I'm like, well, I would like to as soon as I can see that I have the finances ready to go. And I was hoping that I was going to sell my, wedding ring set and that was going to pay for it and so forth. But then the night before, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm supposed to buy this. So I sat in meditation for 30 minutes and I got this little voice that said, you know what you need to do in order to increase your faith, you have to do things that take faith. And so then I took it to prayer after my meditation and said, Heavenly Father, if you're referring to me purchasing the water machine, then please lead me to to my laptop for the 7 a.m. purchase on April 9th and allow me to do it with peace. And I'm so glad that I did, because my life, I never want to go back to life before patches, nor the water machine, because I now have a mindset that is so much more abundance aligned with this light that's getting into my cells. And I sold 7 machines. So I've already paid for my machine within 3 weeks of the purchase with the commissions that I earned. So had I not taken that leap of faith, I would have been missing out on a quality of life that I have never even, with my history, I haven't even dreamed of having the quality of life that I have today. I am having more fun and more engagement with others than I ever felt safe to do. And it's priceless, absolutely priceless. So I'm grateful for what it's done. And one of the big things on a physical level outside of my mindset and mental health and emotional health is the fact that I was familiar with the author of Your Body's Many Cries for Water. And in his book, he talks about how histamine is your main neurotransmitter. And I'm somebody who has struggled with histamine foods. I have a whole folder full of histamine foods to avoid so I wouldn't get all snotty, because I hated that feeling. And I discovered that, I'm finishing breakfast and I'm not, even though I wasn't eating high histamine foods, I was still having a response where I would get junky, and it was like, habit, grab a tissue on my way out the door to go work out. And I drank RO water with high quality electrolytes like trace minerals and scalar salts and all that to optimize hydration. And I would drink 2 gallons a day and still not be appropriately hydrated, because I still had the histamine problem. But as soon as I started drinking the X2O water, the histamine response quieted. And I'm now able to eat things like tomatoes and blueberries and not pay a high price. And to tie this into the bigger picture, antihistamines, whenever somebody's using an antihistamine of any sort, is it okay I talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay. So most pharmaceuticals on the market are 90% of them have an antihistamine component to it. And so people don't realize when they're trying to address their pain problem, they're actually when they're taking something that's a prescription or an over-the-counter something or other, they're actually worsening their problem instead of addressing the problem, because they're leading to further dehydration. And so if we can really do our part to educate people and help them understand the long-term costs of what's happening in their body when they don't properly hydrate, and that they won't know proper hydration until they're being properly hydrated, we could actually be saving people a lot of money in the long run and improving their quality of health. So thank you for letting me rant on about that, because as a nurse, I'm really passionate about getting people off of meds and addressing the root of the problem. And what I've gotten to see with this X2O, not only my own experience, but with those that I've shared with, is absolutely mind-blowing.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. It's one thing, Ali, I was looking at, there's side effects of every drug you take, and every side effect's got a side effect. And one of the things that Benadryl, which is one of the biggest things people take when they have allergies, so that it increases your chance of Alzheimer's dementia by 45%. Okay, 45%. That's huge. So you guys think about what you put in your body. Think about what is that you're consuming, but also think about, and one thing we should talk about on our calls is make sure that if you are in your shower, make sure that your shower water is also filtered. If you don't have a shower system, make sure there's a filter on your shower where the water comes out, because everything that goes on the body is absorbed into the body. And check your shampoos, check your makeup, check all these things out. What are you putting into your body? What are you putting on the outside of your body? Because it's being absorbed. Now, Tricia, I'd like you to go ahead and share what you've experienced.
Well, I've had wonderful results from the water too. I've been on the patches for like 5 years now, and they've really made a big difference in my life. It felt like I was losing energy completely when I got on them, and they were recommended to me. And so I started taking them, and within a week I felt a difference. And when I got the water machine, the first glass I drank, I felt tingling right away. And then I was about to go over to my warehouse and do some more repairs on it. And I started to take a step, and I went, ow, my foot was hurting right where I placed an X39 patch that I'd had on there for 5 months, and to fix the problem there. And I thought, I can't go over there and work while I'm limping to do this in pain. So I moved the patch. It did it again. It was like, no, you're not getting away from this. And so I did it again. So it was retracing like 3 different times till finally I took it off so I could go get my work done. And then later that night, I drank another glass of the X2O with the Celergize nighttime. And then the next morning I got up, drank another one, and just a plain X2O, and went in to put my shoes and socks on. And I went, wait a minute, there's something different here. And my shoulder wasn't bothering me. I'd been in like a 7 or 8 level of pain with my shoulder from an injury I'd sustained while I was putting up ceiling tiles in my warehouse. And it was amazing that I couldn't feel a thing. There was no pain at all the next morning. Now, later that day, I did get the pain back, but it was at a level of more like 1 or 2 instead of the 7 or 8, which was such a big improvement. And then a week or 2 later, I was driving the night before I laid down, and I had a little headache on this side of my head, and I've had several falls. So it was, I'm going, okay, it's fixing something there. And I went to sleep. And then the next day I got up and I had a 7 a.m. meeting. And I'm driving to the 7 a.m. meeting, and I'm going, ow, because like from here to here, my head was hurting. And I went, okay, I know exactly which injury that is. That was when I fell off a ladder in 2014 and hit my head on a brick window ledge. I'd had swelling from here to here for like 3 weeks. And it was amazing. And that's all it did. I said, as long as it doesn't make me unconscious like the fall did, I'm in good shape. And so it was amazing. And I've had many more since then. I've had more retracing incidents in the last 6 weeks on the water than I have in the last 5 years on the patches.
That's
and
awesome.
I will be 75 in July.
Well, you're doing good for 75. So just keep doing what you're doing. We're slowing down or reversing the aging process, right?
Definitely.
Thanks, Tricia.
Thank you.
Okay, who else do we have here? One last one. Barbara. Why don't you go ahead, Barbara, and share with us what you've noticed.
Okay, thank you so much. So mine is pretty quick. I had a friend stop by, and he is already using the patches for several years, I think. And but he hadn't seen the water machine yet. And so just before he was getting ready to leave, he mentioned to me that his ankle and his wrist were in pain because he had played tennis the night before. And so I said, well, why don't you have a glass of water before you go? And so he just stood at the counter and drank the water down. And within 3 or 4 minutes, all of that pain was gone. And
Wow.
he left. But I mean, it was stunning how fast it worked for him.
Well, do you think you changed his quality of life by doing that?
Oh, absolutely. And then he told me later that he could feel the difference in his energy level for the entire day.
Wow.
So it was just really a great experience for him.
That's great. Well, thank you for sharing that. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then we're going to